I'm tired of people pitying me for dating an autistic man. They act like I'm doing a charitable thing by dating my boyfriend. It gets so tiring to constantly have to have the same conversation over and over again, telling people to stop treating him like he is helpless. I met my boyfriend 3 years ago in our first college class, and from the moment I met him I could not stop thinking about him. The past 3 years have been life-changing for me. I have never met anyone whom I loved more and who treats me with so much love. I could listen to him talk about his special interests for hours and never get tired of it. The moment people find out he's autistic, their whole perception of him and us as a relationship completely changes. Like, yeah, him being autistic means he has different habits than neurotypical people, but they go from treating him like an adult to a child. It is so infuriating. So I just wanted to pour my heart out about how much I love him with no repercussions. His special interest is music and art, and before meeting him, I never cared about music. I listened to it like everyone else, but I wasn't someone who delved deep into music. Since meeting him, I have had a new passion for music and its meaning. He's shown me millions of artists I'd never find myself. I can't describe the feeling, but watching his eyes and face light up when I talk to him about music or art is just a feeling I'll never be able to replicate with someone else. I feel the same about his stims as well. I just enjoy how expressive he is, especially when he is happy. It has made me feel like others are just not expressive enough. Also, 6 months after we started dating, he developed stims like drumming on my shoulders and rubbing his hands up and down on my arms or any exposed skin. He doesn't realize he does it always makes me feel fuzzy inside. It just makes me feel close to and loved by him. It feels like he's just this big bundle of bright colors in such a crappy world. He is always truthful. I think now more than ever, it is so hard to find a partner, especially as young as we are with communication skills. If I ask him something, he tells me the truth. It makes disagreements so much easier and keeps our relationship healthy. I could write for hours about the love he brings to my life, but I have to stop here because I have to leave the house in a couple of minutes. Thanks for listening, stranger.
Whenever I feel like life's a little bit of a bummer, I was a little bummed out this morning. I woke up kind of bummed. Just start working. Just literally, nothing's better than working. I would have been a great German. Work will set you free makes total sense to me. It's like, just start building something. And then your frustration with life just becomes that. You know what I'm saying? I built every one of these by hand. And I just built another one, and I'll just keep going. Someone was saying, like, I can't believe you left Washington. You had such a good setup there. I'm like, I just make setups wherever I go. Like, the whole point isn't to make something and then hold on to it. It's everywhere you go in life, make it more beautiful.
Be me, gap year, work as nursery assistant at a home for mentally challenged, lower than 70 IQ. One guy is very unintelligent, 24 years old, IQ too low to learn how to speak, only says weird sounds, no friends, only hobby is to suck puddles dry. Once tried sucking lake dry, pooped multiple times. Once all got sick from bad food. He didn't because of superior stomach from sucking puddles. One day the home gets a new manager, decides that puddler sucker cannot suck puddles anymore. Puddler sucker gets very sad. One time I have the night shift. It's raining. See puddle sucker stand by the window crying looking at the many delicious puddles. Open the door. Puddler sucker runs outside faster than a fortune user chasing an ice cream truck. Sucks on at least 7 puddles. Comes back. Gives me big wet hug. My face when guy who doesn't even crack a smile when he sees his family after 2 months. Gives me a hug.
Your life is everything. You serve all purpose. You should treat yourself now and give yourself a piece of that oxygen in the ozone layer that's covered up so that you can breathe in this blue trap bubble. Because you know what I'm here for, to worship you. Love yourself. I mean that with 100%, with 1,000%.
If freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter. Real men despise battle, but will never run from it. No punishment is too severe for the man who built his greatness upon his country's ruin. There is nothing so likely to produce peace as to be well prepared to meet the enemy. The harder the conflict, the greater the triumph. I will die on my feet before I'll live on my knees.
Encounter problem. Choose not to recognize it as a problem. No longer have problem. Rinse and repeat for everything troubling you in your life. Be happy because no problems in life. Unironically, why haven't you guys taken the stoicism pill?
Yeah, but when are we gonna see insanely hot men with average looking women?
I don't know. Maybe I'll get bored one day and decide to give you a chance. I chimed in with the haven't you.
If you must break the law, do it in order to seize power. In all other cases, observe it. It is easier to find men who will volunteer to die than it is to find those who are willing to endure pain with patience. I would rather be the first man in a village than the second man in Rome. What we wish to be true, we readily believe, and what we ourselves think, we imagine others think as well. I love the name of honor more than I fear death.
As a trans man who does weekly testosterone injections, I go through a lot of syringes.
As a trans man, male to alpha male, if I went through 25 10 milliliter vials of test, I'd look like an ape, bro. That's like 50,000 milligrams of test.
When kids with terminal illness are abandoned by their parents, this man steps in. His name is Mohammed Bazik, but they call him the foster father. He has fostered over 80 terminally ill children in the LA area that were left to pass away all alone. There are, unfortunately, more children than there should be with terminal illness that are abandoned by their parents, some as young as 7 days old. Mohammed would visit these kids in the hospital and see them all alone in their playroom because no one would visit them. He decided to change that and help out as many kids as he possibly could, giving them the love they didn't have until their bitter end. He and his wife started doing this over 32 years ago. She has since passed away, but that has not stopped Mohammed. And as long as he's healthy, he has no plans to stop.
A pinto bean cake from 55. I don't even know what to say about this one. We start by draining 2 27-ounce cans of pinto beans. So I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Now we put 1.5 cups of peanuts through a grind-o-mat. Where did the peanuts come from? What's a grind-o-mat? Are you alright? Put the beans in the grind-o-mat. This is not, how can I say, right? Oh no! Ay, señor. Quesadilla total en la cocina. 3/4 of a cup of honey. To this baby food looking refried funeral? How did you come up with these ingredients? Did you just throw a grenade down aisle 6? 5 egg teeth. Now the chickens are implicated. What is this? Make sure to clean your grind-o-mat. I'm not concerned about your precious grind-o-mat. Lastly, we have 1/2 cup of melted butter and 2 teaspoons of floof powder. Yeah, good luck with that. Only thing this is gonna rise up from is the dead. Catastrophe de bonen. 45 minutes at 375. What? It's a cake. How? You have no right! Soft, dense, rich? No! This is phenomenal.
I like to spoil former fighting dog Scooby when I can. Today, I visited the local butcher where I picked up a ribeye and an after-dinner bone. His dinner consisted of ribeye, banana slices, and a scoop of pumpkin puree. Scooby is usually really nervous when presented with fancy meals, but he might be getting used to it because this time he made quick work of it. Seeing him confident about food was a real treat. He handled the steak and banana slices, and then I helped him get easier access to the pumpkin puree. The after-dinner bone was something the local butcher had set aside just for Scooby, and he was fully focused on it for some time. Thank you all for following Scooby in the Juice Morph account. Former fighting dog. Top 5 issues related to his trauma. Number 5, shivering. Brought on by strange people, unusual circumstances, bad dreams, thunderstorms, fireworks, smoke detectors, and loud noises in general. I try to reduce his exposure to the triggers I just mentioned. Number 4, safe spaces. Scooby only feels safe in a few spaces, and he treats the rest of the world like hot lava. When he walks between his safe spaces, he can panic, and he has hurt himself. He tries to jump through closed doors. He punched a hole in my car with his nose because the back of the car was his safe space, but the door was closed. So I try to make sure to minimize obstacles for Scooby between his safe point A and safe point B. Number 3, impossible to catch. If Scooby were to get away, he would be impossible for anyone other than myself to catch. He runs for safety, even if he doesn't have to or know where he's going, and the more you chase him, the more he's going to run. I prevent issues like this from happening by keeping him on a leash obsessively unless we're in a well-fenced-in yard. And number 2 is Invisible Scooby. Scooby's survival strategy, and what most likely kept him alive, is what I call Invisible Scooby. He pretends like the world around him can't see him, and that he can't see the world. He avoids eye contact with both strange animals and humans, and pretends they're just not there. This avoidance technique probably kept him alive at the shelter while the other dogs from the fighting bust were euthanized. Number 1 is silence. Scooby was silent for the first couple of years that I had him. He never once barked, howled, yelped, or whined. He was the quietest dog I ever met. This is one we fixed, and first we started working on howling, which came off as yawns. And then he started to squeak a little bit like a puppy for a year or so. And recently he started barking with bass. Good. Thank you for following Scooby and the Juice Morph account.
When this delivery driver was delivering a package, he got scared by a huge cat on their porch, and his reaction to it is hilarious.
This is the fattest cat I ever seen in my whole motherfucking life. Garfield, this is a big ass cat. No, I thought this was a fucking bobcat when I walked through that door.
After he got some pictures to show his friend on the phone, the cat meowed at him and he said this.
And the motherfucking meow, he's howling.
When this delivery driver...
Parenting children that are adopted means that I have to take a lot closer looks at things that would otherwise be taken for granted. If my son, for example, is afraid of getting his hair cut, I need to find out what his previous experiences are with getting haircuts. I can't pass off his fears as being irrational. I have to find out what really makes him afraid about haircuts. Once I find out why he was afraid, I can now work to establish safety. And once safety is established, I can work to transform this experience into something that he has an expectation of love. During this journey of fatherhood, I can't take anything for granted, and I have to be open to rediscovering my children. Through this journey, I've learned more about myself and who I need to be for them. And I've also learned the incredible amount of intention that goes into the saying, I love you, and really mean it from the bottom of your heart.
That's your baby. That's your other baby. That's your other baby. What do you think? Huh? That's your second baby.
I recently went down a TikTok video rabbit hole of now divorced women who admitted they initiated the divorce with their man because they couldn't stand the guy anymore. And now they're watching this guy, this ex-husband, in a new relationship. And now that he's with this new gal, who I've heard a lot of these women are complaining that he seems to be a pretty and younger gal, not unheard of in the newly divorced guy world. But now he's jumping out of airplanes and climbing mountains and doing all kinds of stuff. And these women are in tears saying, where the hell was that energy when I was with him? Well, ladies, take a look in the mirror. Maybe you weren't the right partner to bring that out of him. Maybe it's time to, dare I say, look inward at yourself.
How old are you?
71.
What does it feel like to be 71?
Some days quite old, other days nothing much.
Having lived 71 years, would you say you've lived a good life?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yes.
What's the thing you've done in your life that you're most proud of?
My family.
What is one thing that when we're younger, like in our 20s and stuff, that we tend to prioritize, but as we get older, we realize it's actually not that important?
Time. Yeah. Because it just seems to me young people are always in such a hurry, such a hurry. I understand it. The world is out there to be taken, you know. Yeah. So if I go here, I go there, I go here, I go there. But I think just calm down and proceed sensibly.
Do we focus on work too much in our 20s?
I think maybe.
What is one piece of advice you would give to someone who's younger than you?
Relax.
Lately, whenever I'm tempted to eat fast food, I've been imagining Ringo from the Beatles calling me a fatty. I'll think about getting a McDouble or something, and then I'll picture Ringo in my mind saying something like,
"Thinking about a big burger again, are we, piggy?"
The thing is, it actually works, and most of the time I'll forget about my cravings after like 2 minutes of doing this Ringo impression in my mind. Does anyone else do shit like this?